My only pet peeves with Talia are when she starts a sentence about 3 times and never ends it. Well, let me tell. Well, let me tell. Let me tell. That's my only pet peeve with Talia. She starts a sentence, gets sidetracked, and never finishes the sentence. But there are much worse things to complain about that I don't have to deal with.
Well, when we're working on a project, his ADD gets into high gear. Like, let's pretend we were cleaning out a closet. I would say, go over to this corner and take all the stuff out of it and put it over here. What he would be is, it's like Tasmanian devil. Go and grab that stuff, put it over here, come right back. Oh, what's next? What's next? What's next? Oh, I'd just rather do it by myself than have to do it.
I don't remember just when the first pickle he got into, but that's how he got his nickname Pickle, was because he was always getting into some kind of problem, whether it be stuck with his truck, stuck with the tractor, or got in a little bit of trouble somewhere and he didn't want his dad to find out, or whatever it might be. It was just like one weekend to the next, he was in another jam of some sort.
Well, I'm really close with Talia, so I don't want anybody to take this the wrong way, but Talia has had some coordination issues over the years. She's tall and gangling, and I'll never ever forget as long as I live. We were down in the basement. We have a big trial the next morning. We got all our stuff spread out in the basement. We're doing final pre-trial preparation, and I hear the door down to the basement come open. And the next thing I hear all this racket, and I look up and there's Talia. Her head and her shoulders are sticking out in the opening at the foot of the basement steps. She'd fallen down the steps head first, and she jumps up and she tries to get herself together. She goes, "Hi, everybody." Yeah, that's Talia. The other coordination incident, which I'll never forget this, she was trying to be a cheerleader, or she was going to be a cheerleader, but anyway, she had one hand on the aisle and one hand on the sink, and in that little space there, she was swinging back and forth and doing these kicks and all that. And she did one big kick, and kablam, down she went on the floor. Yeah, so much for that. The cheerleader thing, I don't think ever did really work out. So
Jimmy is not flat. He's very good at impressions and, doing an impression of somebody he might have just even met a second ago, or mimicking someone he saw a video of on the internet. To make a really long story short, Tyler comes home from a car buying trip with his friends and shows us this video on YouTube of this guy that hides a camera in the woods and goes and makes a video of himself pretty much pestering this other guy about his car.
It's real clean. You can work on it. It's whatever, the things are not packed real
right.
There's still a lot of room to work on. So with that consideration, I'll go down.
You'll still do it.
Park that 700.
Park that. Look at this. Look at that.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. When I see a car like this, first thing I do is I say, "Would you look at this?" You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, look at this. You got me running all around the car.
Yeah, the only.
Oh, would you look at that?
Put that
just
on.
Look at that.
I can't pull it out either. I'd have to drill it.
Would you just look at it?
Yeah, it's set. It's the only mark.
I mean, just look at it.
Yeah.
I mean, just get a look at that.
A cop did that.
A cop? Oh, where is he? I'd like to look at him.
Yeah, went over.
And everything about the video is, well, look at that. Well, would you look at that?
Look at that.
And everything that we do now are, well, would you look at that? Well, he watched the video about 1 minute and did the whole impression of this guy. And I think his impression is better.
Would you just look at it? Would you just look at that?
No, you gotta stand up and do the hands. And
I did.
Right.
Right.
No, you gotta do your hair. Right.
Hang on, buddy.
Mike Spiker impression. He comes
Well, I'll tell you, son, you're getting right into the best years of your life, I'll tell you what.
I've had a lot of people say to me that they cannot imagine a more opposite couple than Talia and Jimmy. You got the pageant girl and the farm boy, and they could not imagine how the two of them could get together and have anything in common.
If you've spent 10 minutes with them, you will see what they have in common is this crazy sense of humor. Talia has always had this weird sense of humor. She laughed at things that were sort of funny, but not that funny, and she would spew milk across the dinner table at night when she was in school, telling us about something the teacher did or another student did. So when I heard them laughing and laughing and laughing, I knew this might possibly be the one.
He and I work differently. James always likes to work to get a job done as quickly as he can get it done, as long as it works okay. That's good enough. And I'm just the opposite. I take my time in doing something and like to think it has some, I don't know, quality or something to it. And then I tried to relate that to Julie and I's marriage. We dated each other 5 years before we got married. And now Talia and James are getting married after, what, 9 months? So that quickness of doing things translates into even this marriage.
Something people would be really surprised to know about Jimmy is that he is all about my Mary Kay business. He cannot wait to drive my car because that means we got a free Mary Kay car, and he can't wait until the pink Cadillac shows up on the farm. He is all about this Mary Kay business and helping me on Sundays and thinking up new selling ideas or recruiting his classmates and co-workers for the business. So I love that about him, but he is all about the pink, and he thinks, hey, lipstick's going to be our future, so he needs to be liking it too.
One thing about Talia that people don't know and won't believe, and probably still won't believe after me telling this, is she is cheap, and that is important. I mean, you know, especially with a couple young couple just starting out, it's important. She doesn't have to be taken out to the Chop House or the Outback every Saturday night. We had a wonderful date night last night with a $7 meal at Chester's Chicken at Love's gas station, and we enjoyed every bit of it, and we would do that all the time if we had to.
Talia and Tyler always played together very well. We were very blessed that they didn't fight, and even in middle school they began to snip each other a little bit, but it wasn't bad. I always knew whoever she married would be a lot like her brother, because that's who she was used to playing with.
The story I have on Talia that I will never forget for the rest of my life. Talia and I had gotten into a fight. I don't know what it was about. I have no idea. But the next day, she had just won the Miss 4th of July firecracker pageant, and she was going to be in the parade. And this was the morning of the parade. And I had just gotten a motorcycle. I was in like 5th grade. It was my first motorcycle, and I was just learning how to ride it. It was like I had it for 2 days, and Talia wanted to ride it. Well, I was mad at her, and she comes out there and wants to ride it, and she asks me, I'll never forget it, she asks me if it's just like a bike. Is it just like a bike? And I said, oh yeah, it's just like a bike. No big deal. Well, she gets on it, and she finally gets it started, and she takes off and just floors it. Just goes through the neighbor's yard, just smoke going everywhere, floors it, and lays it down on the pavement of the other neighbor's driveway, and gets this huge big scrape on her knee, and she has to have this American flag bandage on her knee in the parade. I'll never forget it because I was laughing the whole time, and the only part that made me mad was it scratched my motorcycle when she laid it down on the concrete. But it was well worth it to me because she got what she deserved. I think Talia always beat up on me, and I've never laid a hand on her as of today, but she's got it coming to her sometime. I got plenty of brownie points worked up, but that day I got a little bit of revenge on Talia with the motorcycle.
3 different stories getting into his luck. But maybe one of the first year or 2 that he had ever gone deer hunting and gun hunting. We didn't let him go far from the house. He wasn't very old, so he just went back out here in the woods a couple hundred yards, and he sat in a stand, and he got cold one morning, came back a little early, and as it warmed up, he rode his little Honda 50cc motorbike out to his deer stand because for whatever reason he left his gun there. Got out there rode his mini bike out to the deer stand about noon, went up there and got his gun. It was an older, cheap shotgun that didn't shoot straight. Climbed up into the deer stand, retrieved his gun. While he was up there, a doe, walks, I don't know, like 80 yards away in the middle of the day after riding his mini bike out. He pulls up and shoots it right through the heart at like 75 yards with a gun that doesn't even shoot straight.
Well, he got up in his stand. He said, "I think I'll just sit here for a couple of minutes." And he said, a couple of minutes, here come a deer along, and he shot it and he got it. And Joshua called us and said, "The impossible has happened. James just shot a deer."
That's story number one, I guess, on the lucky end of things. Later on, when I was in high school, part of a fundraising effort, we had to sell these. They called them 200 or 400 club tickets for a basketball team. And long story short, every home game there was like a $20 draw winner, and then at the end of the season, the last game, there was I think maybe it was a $400 draw. One draw at the end. Well, he won that.
So that's what he used for his first purchases of what we called the stock market, and that's how he kind of got into farming. He bought livestock.
Then just a couple years ago, he goes out west with my father-in-law to go elk hunting for the first time ever with a bow. And lo and behold, he shoots a really nice 6x6 bull elk, as big as any bull that my father-in-law, who's been going out there for 30 years, has ever shot.